6 of one, half a dozen of another.
Revolution will not be televised, and be no rerun, brothers and sisters. The revolution will be live. Can you dig it? Can you dig
it? What is up, all you stone cold, super fly, illmatic, fish keeping funkadelics? You watching Aqua Funk Aquatics with me, Aqua Funk. Now look, this can be misconstrued. You like that? Misconstrued as a rant video, and depending on how you look at it, I'm fine with that. That's cool. But I have to go over the 3 things that really burn me up, get my goat, burn my bacon, get me hot under the collar, get me so mad I want to holler about angelfish breeders. I am an angelfish breeder. I like to think of myself as so. That's up to you. That's up for y'all to decide, but I'm calling myself angelfish breeder. And as an angelfish breeder, I have certain standards. Now, if you're an angelfish breeder, or you bred angelfish, or you do breed angelfish or whatever, and you feel you fit under some of these categories, hey, to each his own. This is my personal gripes I have with angelfish breeders. First, not culling. Okay? Not culling. Culling is when you kill, send to the upper room fish that you do not deem good enough. That sounds kind of cruel, right? And in a way, yeah, I guess it could seem kind of cruel, but listen to me for a minute. Just for 1 minute. Angelfish have done very well at adapting to the home aquarium. And they breed prolifically because of it. So with all of this breeding going on, because they are pretty much a staple in the home aquarium, with all this breeding going on, you're gonna have genetic deformities. And in the wild, angelfish have so many fry because they get picked off. So it's a crapshoot. It's the law of averages. Okay, you want some of your fry to live? You know a bunch of them are gonna get picked off. Have a lot of fry. That way you have a good amount of your offspring that make it. But in the home aquarium, when people are artificially raising these fry, they do not have that death count. So any fish that would have died because of a deformity or abnormality in the home aquarium live, and they get sold at the local pet stores. and you know, and I have to go after the local pet stores too, because you're selling these fish. I understand the local pet stores, it's all about the bottom dollar because they're a local pet store. They need to pay the light bill. They need to put food on the table. So when they get a shipment of fish in and some of them are deformed, instead of sending them back like they should, they just go ahead and sell them. Just get their money for it. Shame on you. But I get it, business-wise, I get it. But let's go to the breeders, where it all began. Breeders do not cull their fish for the same reason. They want every penny for every fish they produce. So they go ahead and they send these fish with these deformities and abnormalities, and the everyday Joe who goes to the local fish store doesn't really see the difference. They're just so excited about the fish they get, they don't see the difference, and they buy the fish. They take it home, they buy about 4 of them. Those 4 breed, and guess what? Now you have more fish with abnormalities. What do? You take them to the local fish store, you get some fish food, whatever you do. Now you have more fish out there in the population mixing into the genetic gene pool that have genetic deformalities that should have been culled. Okay, now mind you, if these fish did not breed so prolifically, I understand keeping the ones that come out, but they do. They breed prolifically. So you have this abundance of fish with bulk DNA getting into the genetic gene pool, making it hard for people like me who want to get fish from other bloodlines, not knowing that while this fish looks perfect, its DNA is imperfect. So now I just introduced some imperfect DNA into my bloodline. Now I got to deal with it, and because I feel I am a responsible fish breeder, that means I'm gonna have to cull them guys. I don't have to. I can go ahead and sell them, but it's just gonna perpetuate the problem. My second one, selling fish, angelfish, smaller than a quarter. Let me explain to you why. These fish right here. What number is it? This one. Okay. Actually, both tanks have fish that I have pulled out. These are some of the fish that I've raised from some of my breeders, and I want to keep them as little baby fry. They had some traits that stood out to me, so I kept them. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly wean the ones that are not desirable. These are not gonna be cold. I don't feel like these should be cold, but I want a perfect specimen. So I bring a bunch of them. I get my hands on a bunch of them, and I whittle them away till I have, you know, the best. But let's get back to that dime size. You see on the internet a lot of times they'll sell angelfish dime size. Let me tell you the problem with selling fish dime size. First of all, let me tell you why they sell fish at dime size, angelfish at dime size. Because at a dime size, the fins are longer than the body. Okay, when the body becomes a dime size, they hit a growth spurt. Okay, now the growth spurt starts with the fins. The fins will grow faster and bigger than the body. So when you look at it, it looks gorgeous. You think when this, well, you can imagine now, the body's this big, the fins are this big, it's just gonna get bigger and better. No, that's not the case. What actually happens is, eventually, when they turn into when the body gets a quarter size, is when they level out, where the fin to body ratio is pretty much what it's gonna be when it gets older. But at a dime size, the fins are way longer. So it's kind of trickery, you know what I mean? They wanna get you to buy them at a dime size because they don't have to feed them no more. They can get their money faster. They don't have to spend money on water changes. They don't have to spend their money on food or hiring somebody to clean the tanks. They can go ahead and get their money faster, in and out, assembly line style. So that's why they sell them at dime size. And my last thing that really burns me up about fish breeders, angelfish breeders, is naming these fish. Listen, my very first video, I did it on a fish called veil-tailed California green angel. I can't find this fish. You wanna know why? It's a name that somebody just wrote it up so they could slap it on a tank and sell them for extra money. What I believe these fish are veil-tailed green smoke angels. Okay? But angelfish breeders have a bad habit of every time an angelfish come out looking a little bit different than the parents, slapping a new name on it. The DNA is the same. Just because the pattern's a little bit different doesn't make it a whole new species of fish that you can tack on a couple extra bucks on it and say you have a rare angelfish that nobody's ever seen before. Take these for example. All these fish neither look similar to the parents, but they all have different patterning than the parents, and some of them have way different patternings from each other. But it doesn't matter. They're still red-shouldered, wild red-shouldered cross bred with a domestic angel. You don't see any red shoulders. I do see some red shoulders coming out on some of them. I don't know until they get bigger which ones are gonna have red shoulders, or if they're even gonna have them. But they're babies. If these were to breed, they could possibly have a red-shouldered angelfish. So just because it doesn't look like the parents, it doesn't mean it's a different fish. It's all about the DNA. They don't take the time to actually cultivate that line for that trait that they like, and make it a true morph. You know what I'm saying? It's trickery. All the things I just said, not culling. Yeah, I got angelfish, but you're so excited, you just go ahead and buy it, thinking, oh, and then it's not until you take it home and you start noticing the small little details where it's imperfect. The selling it as a quarter because it looks cooler as when it's about a dime size than it would as a quarter size when it looks normal. And the names, just to tack on a couple of dimes. Those are just three things that just burn me up. I wish they would stop doing it. I wish the local LFS, the mom and pop stores, would put a stop to it by not ordering from these people no more. There it is, my soapbox. I'm gonna get down now. But I appreciate you listening to what I'm saying. And hopefully, when you go to look for your angelfish, you think about this video, ask the right questions. You know, is this truly this particular breed, or is it just a genetic deformity? Look at the fins. Make sure it shouldn't have been cold to begin with, and don't get angelfish smaller than a quarter size, body wise I'm talking about, because you don't know what it's going to look like in a month and a half from now when it does get to a quarter size. Anyway, that's my time. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your fish.